Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. We haven't even started, and I'm already pushing all the wrong buttons by cueing headlines on a day in which we're not having headlines. Today is Sunday. It's Sunday, October 11th, and as you know, on Sundays, we don't talk about news, or at least we don't talk about bad news. All we do on Sunday is have fun. But Monday through Saturday, in case you're joining us for the first time, we gather news and headlines about things that relate to our lives here in Puerto Vallarta, and we share them with one another. Not today. Today is just a fun day to be silly and goofy and talk about anything but. My name is Paco, and again, if you are new, we would love to hear that you're new. And you can let us know that you're new by writing the word new in your comments. You should be forewarned. Today's show is going to be saucy. Well, Sundays are a little bit more relaxed, so don't be too shocked by the things you see, by the things you hear. If this is your first time, give it a chance. Come back tomorrow, come back the next day, and maybe you will not think so horribly of the things we say here. Let us start by taking a look at who's here. Trucha is in the house. Raymond is in the house, so is Jan and Sheila and Deb and Jill. And Scott is in Los Muertos, and Christy. I have no idea where Christy is, but she's always here, and I'm glad that you're with us. Lake Merritt is in the house. Hola, James. Windsor, Ontario is in the house. Hola, Randall. Look at all of you. Good morning, Paul. It's always great to see you here. And Michal, you're going to be my next door neighbor pretty soon, as I recall. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you very much. I have been invited to a Canadian Thanksgiving dinner tonight, so I'm really, really excited about that. Michael says it's my birthday, so happy birthday, Michael. Yay! Yay! Happy birthday, Michael. Let's see who else is here. Well, everybody's here. This is wonderful. Gary is in town now. Dale is here. Good Lord. I haven't even ever said the P word, but I get a kick out of the fact that you came up with that word. I don't use it because in my mind it's not about me. It's about the community you all create. But I think it's absolutely wonderful. Yes, Michael. Yes, we hear you. Your birthday too. Da, 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 da. Today is your birthday. Da, 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 da. Etc. 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 Let's see. What else is going on? Everybody's here. My goodness. Yes, happy birthday, Michael. Absolutely. Oh my God. Alan Shepard has a birthday too. Alan, happy birthday. Yes. Happy birthday. I hope you guys have a good cocktail. I will have a good cocktail to celebrate your birthdays, one for each. Anyhow, oh, I like the sound of that, Celeste. Today is 420 Harvest Day. I love it. I made my latest batch of brownies earlier this week because I had run out. And as you know, they help me sleep better. And it is a good day when one harvests things and cakes and bakes cakes and things like that. But anyhow, let me just get started with today. Today we have a little bit of everything. I want to let you know about the wonderful adventure that I had yesterday at Isla Río Cuale. Some of you may have already seen a video that I published yesterday afternoon. I will show it again here, and I will tell you a little bit more background information about what I saw. I will also bring us back to that crazy comet or meteorite or whatever it was that landed in northern Mexico, and all those colorful metaphors that the people that posted the video were expelling out of their mouths. It was just delicious. And some of you have been curious about that arrow, so I want to tell you a little bit more about that and a couple of other things that have come up that you may enjoy on a day like today. So let us start with the river. We learned that the John Huston sculpture had been removed from one place to another, and we read on one of the local papers that the installation was completed. So I figured I'm going to go take a look. Some of you asked, how did it go? So I went yesterday and I took photos, but then the most unexpected thing happened. I mean, I was walking around and this guy was keeping an eye on what I was doing, and I started having a conversation with him. And he turned out to be a PhD researcher who has been hired by the city through the Department of Culture to be a consultant as to what is going on at the river in terms of the choices that they're making in terms of new plants. And what I thought about this was how wonderful it is to have run into someone who was eloquent, who was eager to explain about the work, and how wonderful it was to have the circle close, because oftentimes we see that the city, our municipality does all kinds of really wonderful things, but their communications department, sometimes they don't close the circle by letting us know all the wonderful things that they're doing or how they're doing them or why. So I was very, very blessed to run into one of the researchers that is in charge of overseeing the landscaping at the Cuale. And I want to show you the interview. I know that a couple of you have seen it already, so it's only 5 minutes. Please don't mind me if I play it again.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Bartolo Cruz Romero, tengo el grado de doctor en ciencias en biosistemática, ecología y manejo de recursos naturales. Suena un tema bastante rimbombante, pero en realidad me dedico a lo que es la cuestión de utilizar a la vegetación en función de todas las variables ambientales. En este caso, la planeación ambiental y urbana. Es a donde quiero aterrizar este trabajo, en el cual pues me invitaron a participar como asesor aquí en el ayuntamiento por parte del Instituto Vallartense de Cultura. Agradezco realmente esta oportunidad porque este proyecto de reforestación de la isla del río Cuale puede ser un ejemplo de lo que pudiéramos hacer en todos los parques de nuestra ciudad. Llamémosle parques, pero también áreas urbanas dentro de los fraccionamientos. Sabemos que existe un reglamento al respecto, pero aún no se respeta al 100%. Es decir, la utilización de especies nativas, como lo estamos haciendo en este momento, aquí en este proyecto, pues no se ha logrado todavía aterrizar al 100%. Agradezco realmente al ayuntamiento todo el trabajo y el esfuerzo que está realizando con toda su gente aquí dispuesta para colaborar en función de ¿qué? De que las plantas que nosotros sembremos aquí presten un servicio ambiental. Es decir, esos llamados actualmente servicios ecosistémicos. Entendemos que ya tenemos estos árboles aquí a mis espaldas, que son unos ficus introducidos desde la India. Pareciera que tengo yo guerra con estas plantas, pero sí, si a mí me dieran a escoger entre una planta nativa y un ficus, por supuesto que pondría nativas. Tenemos el 25% de la diversidad vegetal aquí en nuestro estado, entonces es importante utilizar parte de ese material vegetal que tenemos para reforestar nuestras áreas. ¿Qué estaríamos ganando? Estaríamos ganando, pues, mayores servicios a la fauna, mayor servicio a la flora también, porque hay interacciones ecológicas entre las plantas también, entre ellas. ¿Y qué nos estaríamos ahorrando? Procesos de mantenimiento, actividades de mantenimiento. Hablo de riego, de fertilizante, entre otras cosas que se necesitan como la poda. ¿Qué ocurre con las especies nativas en temporada de secas, por ejemplo? Requieren menos agua, requieren nutrientes o si acaso ni siquiera los requieren porque están adaptadas a nuestro territorio. ¿A qué debemos migrar cuando estamos trabajando un proyecto de reforestación urbana? A utilizar especies nativas. Y si no llegamos a especies nativas, al menos las que no nos produzcan daño en nuestra salud y en nuestra infraestructura. Muchas gracias.
And that was the interview. And from the point of view of somebody that is in the business of collecting this kind of information, let me tell you, it is so awesome and so dreamy when you put a camera and a microphone in front of someone who has a clear idea of what they want to say and then delivers a very eloquent, very well put together, very concise message. All I had to do was click start and stop on my video, and it was just wonderful. Let me take a look at a couple of questions that you asked because they were very, very good questions. James asked about the word rimbombante. Let me put that word up. It takes me 2 seconds. And here it is. Rimbombante. There you go. And James asks if I translated it as fancy. I did. The reason is rimbombante is the meaning is either pompous or ostentatious. And what the doctor meant to say there is that his title sounds like something that is really fancy schmancy, but in reality, this is what he does, so forth and so on. And that's the reason why we used the word rimbombante there, the word fancy there. Thank you for translating. It's my pleasure, Karen. This is what we do. Yes, he is very handsome, absolutely. And Raymond, you are absolutely correct. Ficus trees are notoriously bad for plumbing. So it was so fascinating to hear the good doctor's point saying, it's like if we have these trees that are not even endemic to our region, why are we planting them here? And for better or for worse, we are surrounded by ficus, and ficus are just horrible for the plumbing. This is very, very true. Let's see. Okay, so that was that, and James appreciated rimbombante. Yeah, it's a great word. Rimbombante is like, it's a big word, rimbombante. Okay, let's go back to that meteorite comet incident. Do you want to go there? Because there were a lot of choice, colorful words, and that way we get all the dirty stuff out of the way, and then we can talk about more wholesome things. So do you want to talk about the wholesome things first? Maybe we should do the wholesome things first. That way we can save the dirty deed until the end. So the arrow. You've asked me about the arrow. Let me tell you about the arrow. But how do I do this? No, let me start with the bookshelves. You see, the arrow didn't come first. The thing that came first is, well, the bookshelf. And the bookshelf and other things that relate to the bookshelf. How do I explain this? There was a time in my life in which I used my leisure time differently. I used to do a lot of paper crafts. Well, I've always done paper crafts. Doing paper crafts has always been important in my life since I was a kid. And there was a period in which I was exploring a lot of cardboard furniture making based on a series of techniques that were developed by a French artist called Eric Lanier. Eric Lanier took traditional paper mache and then used cardboard, applying joinery techniques that are common in carpentry, in woodworking, to create sturdy furniture. And I got some books about what he was doing. They were all in French. And then I looked at the diagrams and I figured, I can do this. So my first big furniture project, I think, was the television bookshelf. And I call it the television bookshelf because right there's my TV set. Woohoo! there's my TV set. And my TV set, when I bought it, it came in this ginormous cardboard box. And I figured there's no way in hell I'm going to throw that cardboard box away. I am going to repurpose it into something useful. And it became this bookshelf. But this bookshelf, started as a structure. As you can see here on the left side, there is the skeleton of the bookshelf. It didn't even have the actual shelves put in it. On the right-hand side, you can see how I'm starting to cover it with newspaper pieces. And then moving right on, you can see how on the left side, the whole structure is already covered in newspaper. And then I went ahead and I sealed it with gesso. Gesso? Yes, it is gesso in English. And then after I sealed it with gesso, I painted it on the obviously important colors here in the house, which are orange and green. And then I used a black patina, you can see on the right-hand side, to make it look aged. And finally, I added some decoupage motifs. And you can see that I only added them on one side of the bookshelf, because you can see on the other side it doesn't have the motif. Sometimes I flip it around one way or the other so that I can change the way it looks from time to time. So that was that. And then the whole thing about the bookshelf started because, not the bookshelf, the arrow behind me started because I saw this this blog post on this website that has to do with crafting things. And at the time I figured, oh my God, that is so pretty. I have to make one for myself. But this project involved woodworking and involved tools that I didn't even have, like aluminum flashing. What the fuck is aluminum flashing? I had no idea. And a jigsaw and drills and screwdrivers and all these really butch things. But I liked the way it was explained. You start with a basic structure in the back, and then they created a way to keep all those wood slats together, and they drilled holes to throw lights in it. And I figured, okay, I like the project. And then they put the aluminum siding so that it would glow better. And I figured, well, I can do something like that, but I'm going to do it my way. And what I did is, of course, here's the arrow as it stands today. As you can see, some of the lights have been extinguished. I need to take advantage of the fact that that Christmas is coming, and I need to get a new set of Christmas LED lights. But I have some behind the scenes here as to how the whole project came about. I first, of course, cut the structure out of cardboard. And then I realized that I was going to need something sturdy in the back to be able to hang it. So I designed this little attachment that I was able to put in the back. It's that rectangular shape you see in the middle. And then I used Reynolds aluminum foil sheets that I bought at the supermarket to cover the sides of it so that it would imitate the look of the tin from the original project. And this is what it's starting to look like when I started to apply an old patina on it. And then here's another detailed look of it. And this is what it looked like when it was brand spanking new. And the phrase aquí es means here's where it's at. It's a very common phrase. You hear it a lot at the mercados. If you're going from one mercado stand to mercado stand, a lot of times the vendors will say things like pásale, aquí es, which means come over here. This is the place. So this is how I came about with these projects. And of course, now I don't. I use my spare time differently. I don't make cardboard furniture anymore, but there's a lot of cardboard furniture here in the house, from small pieces to large pieces. And I've always been of the mindset that if I'm going to hang something on the wall, either it has to be something that I made, or it has to be something that was a precious gift from someone that I know. The whole idea of putting artwork on the wall that I'm not connected to. It just doesn't work for me. Anyhow, that is the story behind the arrow on the back of my head. Now you know. Moving right along, let me take a quick look at your comments or questions just to see to see what is going on. Let's see. Mark is getting sassy. Wholesome or some hole? Really, Mark? Haha. Reuse or recycle. That's the idea. Thank you very much for that. Felix asks, why newspaper? Because newspaper allows you to seal the piece, and it's the way traditional paper mache is made here in Mexico. It can be any other kind of paper, but newspaper is very inexpensive and it's easy to find everywhere you go. Let's see. I don't know about that. She's been in jail and I haven't, although I've been close to going to jail one time in my life. I'm not going to talk about that now. So there. What do I do in my spare time now? Research news. What do I do in my spare time? That's a really good question. Just research. I still play the piano some. I don't know what I do with my spare time. I research. I read. I watch television. I don't know what I'm doing with my spare time. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Anyhow, moving right along, let us now take a look at the meteorite incident, because that way we get to take a deeper look at some of those colorful metaphors that we heard when it happened. And for those of you that don't know what we were talking about, a few days ago there was a small meteorite that landed in northern Mexico. This was captured live on video by some people. And you have to wonder, why is it that the people that often capture these wonderful things live are the ones that are the least outspoken or resourceful with the way they describe things? So I'm going to put this up, and these are the expressions that we're going to hear on this fabulous little snippet. Take a look. I said take a look. I love it when the software does not obey. Take a look. Boom.
Grabar, no puedo grabar.
Güey,
¿Qué pedo, güey?
no mames, no, güey.
Fugaz, güey.
Güey, duró ching.
Ellas, son de a madre.
Güey, no
¿Qué
te
pedo es,
pases
güey?
de verga, güey.
Güey, ¿qué es? No es una estrella fugaz, güey. No,
Güey.
chingas. Vete a la verga, güey.
Nos
¿Qué
van a
es, güey?
invadir, cabrón.
¿Va para abajo? Va para abajo, güey.
Güey, va a caer, güey.
Va a caer, güey. Güey, ¿no sería un avión?
Way. So there you have it. And yes, Lynn, I am feeling the humidity. Absolutely. And you know, I always get nervous when I'm doing the broadcasts. And so I always sweat when I'm doing the broadcast. So anyhow, talk about colorful metaphors. Some of these we're already familiar with. Some of these we may not be. So I just wanted to share them with you. I chuckled when I first saw this video, you know, and I was reminded about that very famous video. You can find this online. When the Hindenburg Zeppelin caught on flames, there is a very famous radio broadcast in which the broadcaster was describing exactly what was going on, and it is absolutely funny to me that these guys were just using these colorful metaphors. So let's be certain of something. These are not metaphors that you want to use at the dinner table, okay? These I'm just sharing because you seem to enjoy them. So let's take a quick look at all of them, starting with güey, which can be güey, G-U-E-I, and we put the two little dots on top of the U because that way we make sure that the U is not silent. And those two little dots are called diéresis, but you don't need to know that. Güey or way, it depends on, it can be written in many different ways. Some people think that it is a mutation of the word buey, which is an ox, and an ox is this creature that has big horns, and they used to castrate them. I don't know why, but I read somewhere that they used to castrate them. So the word boy can also be applied to a clumsy guy who has big horns and has no balls, and is just overall stupid. Um, and But then there's also this theory that the word comes from the Nahuatl because way, Uey, used to signify um, great, the word great. And Tlatoani means leader. So it is said that in the Nahuatl, to call an emperor Way Tlatoani, it meant that he was a great leader. So this is where this particular word comes from. No mames has the key feature is the word mamar, and the word mamar is a word that we use to describe when an infant sucks a nipple and drinks milk from the nipple. It is also the activity that we do when we go down on someone. So in this case, the expression "no mames" is the equivalent of saying "get out of here, no way." Okay, and then oh dear, here the key feature is verga, which means penis. No te pases de verga is literally it means don't be so cocky or don't be too cocky, and in this context. What the guy was trying to imply is don't be so cocky when you say something like that. And then somebody said "vete a la verga," which means go to hell. But in this case, it's more like saying "oh no way." So that's what the expressions mean. Um, and then, of course, cabron. Cabron is a very complicated word. It is a friendly insult, but cabron can mean so many things. Let's just say that cabron in Mexico is it's just a friendly insult. In Puerto Rico, though, cabron is a man whose wife cheats on him, and in Italy, the word verga is a last name, is a common last name. So, I mean, the last thing that I would want, or the last thing that you would want, is to migrate to Mexico with the last name Verga. You would not want to keep that last name if you were living in Mexico. Anyhow, that's just a little bit of Spanish craziness that I wanted to share with you. Let me take a quick look at your comments. La li la la, the flat, pam 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 pam. Nice that. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It is nice to see that they're doing what they're doing, Carmen. My only wish, and I had this conversation with a very nice doctor. Last week we were talking. Sorry about this. It's humid. Last week we were talking about how the city reopened the Malecon and how nice it would be that the city would close the circle by communicating their acts and their intentions in a more eloquent way. Sometimes I feel sad that the Department of Culture and other projects that are going on in the city, we don't hear about them because the city does not toot its own horn. And I had this discussion with the doctor that I met yesterday, with a landscaper, and he agreed. It is unfortunate that a lot of the good deeds made that take place, that are done by the city, we don't hear about them because the city does not communicate them properly. Let's see. Thank you very much for adding to this. Thank you very much. Pam, 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 pam. James feels uncomfortable using the big words. I don't blame you. It's not like I use them all the time, but I figured you would appreciate that. Michael comments on the new look of the bridge over the Rio Cuale. Yes, we walked that, and I took some photographs, and I'm going to share them tomorrow because what Marcela Lepe has done is she's painted some of the lampposts over the Cuale Bridge in the style of her father's, Manuel Lepe. And it's just really, really beautiful. And Carmen adds to what we were talking about. Way Tlatuani, biggest honcho in Empire. Yes, it's the whole expression way. We actually don't know whether it comes from the Ox or it comes from the Aztecs. It became very popular in the 90s. And for a while, it also was a phrase that was used to make fun of the upper class Mexico City crowd because of the way they speak. They have this certain way of speaking that sounds something like this. Ay, güey, pero es que tú no sabes, güey. Yo me tardé mucho, güey. And for a while, it seems like some people were using the word way every other 2 or 3 words, and it became very, very popular. Let's see. Bim, parim, param, pam, 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 pam. Any more comments? Any more comments? Any more comments? The city just needs a good winter. Wonder. Yes, the city we need a good winter. The weather's about to change, Sean, which is a good thing. Which bridge am I referring to? Asks James. I'm referring to the bridge. I'm referring to the not the suspension bridge. I'm referring to the actual street bridge that goes along. Oh God, my goodness! I'm having a pot moment. Ignacio Vallarta. Ignacio Vallarta is the street that you go over the bridge when you're heading south into Emiliano Zapata. It is on that bridge where some artwork is being painted, and it's really, really beautiful. Let's see. Okay, yes. If you went to see Princesas Desesperadas, there was a lot of colorful metaphors in that play. And I suppose this is it. This is what we have for Sunday Funday. I am going to be back tomorrow, as always, with the update that we get every Sunday afternoon from our governor regarding the COVID numbers for our region. We're going to have to wait and see what's going on. We will wait until tomorrow to share those with you. But in the meantime, I hope you will have a really wonderful Sunday. The weather is nice. It's getting cooler and fresher by the day, although it's still very schwitzy. And I hope you had fun today, and I hope you learned something new, and I hope you were inspired to try something. Think of ways to be creative. I'm sure that you all are creative one way or another. And Michael, I remember I told you, you mean cosita? Yesterday, we were talking about cosita. I think that's the word that I told you yesterday. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of trying out some of the new dishes that Michael Bufford will be offering at Poblanos, his Mexican restaurant, starting on Tuesday. So tomorrow, I'm going to have a little bit of show and tell of some of the things that I ate and some of the things I would recommend and why everybody should try this restaurant once they start introducing the new menu. Between now and then, have a great day. Stay happy, stay kind, stay connected, stay patient, and stay creative. And I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.